This is my son, Alfredo Calva II. He's certified with Dow Automotive System too. My technicians too. My wife, she answers the phone calls. She's also certified. This is my toolbox. I set it up myself. I love what I do, and nothing better than have the proper tools to do a proper installation. It's pretty much fully equipped with all the tools that are needed for a safe quality installation. And today I'm going to be working on a 2009, I believe. It is 2010 BMW. And the series is, sorry, we booked this job last week. It's a 328i. My son already discontaminated the glass. He's been trained by me and by Jaime Mendoza from Dow Automotive Systems. And we're going to get started doing a windshield replacement on the vehicle right now. I want to touch up on a few different techniques that you could do a proper, safe windshield installation. So I'm going to start by putting gloves on my hands. And I want to do the video for this type of car because I see a lot of mistakes on this vehicle. The way to remove the bottom cowling, it's a little bit difficult. Well, not that difficult, but you definitely need to know a few different things. So I'm going to start by removing the windshield wipers. It's a 16 millimeter socket. You want to make sure where they're aligned, because you want the new when you reinstall the new windshield, you want it to be in the same spot. So it is important to know exactly where they were. So this one, you don't need a wiper puller. They come out fairly easy. You can see how easy that was. So this is the passenger. So it goes on the right side, and then the driver's side, the left side. It has an 8 millimeter. And what I have here, I have these little sockets, bought them from Harbor Freight. They're so useful. They connect to the drill pretty fast. And have a little magnet inside. So it helps you not to drop the screws. So I'll just leave it on here for now. This comes off towards the back, just like this. And there's an air filter here, so you don't want to get it dirty. Keep it somewhere safe. And this piece right here, it has a retainer molding on the bottom. Usually you could go from down here, I don't know if you can see on the camera, from literally right here, and start undoing the that molding, retainer molding off of the cowling. And I highly recommend patience. If you're doing auto glass and you don't have patience, I highly doubt it you could accomplish a quality job. See, this is tricky. So now, get my little tiny hook tool. This one right here. I always remove this one. You see? That easy. It has this little long, like a little guide here. That's where those little guides go. So you see the yellow one was on top. Why am I removing this one? This one is from the driver's side. So driver's side, I always try to put it on the left so that I remember where it goes. See, but what that does, it allows me to pull this up just like that. So Right now, I'm gonna remove the hose. Just want to pull back. There's a clip. That clip, you could just pull it up with your hand. And there's these connectors right here for some sensors. The longer one goes towards the back one, and the shorter one goes to the one towards the top. See, the reason why I removed the little rubber ring around the windshield wiper is so that it gives me more space to be able to pull this up. Otherwise, you're forcing it, and forcing is not a good thing on auto glass. So as you can see, nothing was damaged, and there is a retainer molding here. As you can see, this molding, sometimes you could take it off just by pulling it like this. Once again, slowly, just like that. If you want to use something to help you pull it out, you could get a little plastic Can you remove this with a glass? Yes, you can. The only thing is that you don't have a lot of space to you don't have a lot of space from the inside or from the bottom. By doing this, I'll show you something why I prefer to take it off like the way I just did it. This one has a little guide right here. You see the little teeth? So those little teeth, what I do, I go here and just flip it right where it goes. And remember, the glass is already discontaminated, so you don't want to touch the glass. If you already discontaminated the glass, you don't want to touch the glass where the bonding surface area is. So right now, just pushing it in. My other hand, it's on the top upper molding. And so I'm just using that to push it in really nice and tight. See, now it's perfectly aligned right where it's supposed to be. And so now you see there's more space right here, right in the bottom. Now I'm going to remove this side moldings. I'm going to use little pop-up tool and this plastic pop-up tool. I usually start from the bottom. I hope you can see what I'm about to do. There are these long moldings. I mean, these clips right here. There's some space right behind the clip where if you do it just right with your little pop-up tool. See what I was doing, I was going from up and pushing it down, not forcing it up. You never want to do that because then you'll break the clip. These are plastic clips with metal clips, and you could break it. So I was going like this, had this tool right here, and as you can see there's a mark right there where I was doing it. Just push down, and that was releasing the clip, the molding out of the clip. Can you start on the top? Yes, you can. Do I prefer the bottom? I do prefer the bottom because I have more space in between. Right here, see, I barely was able to grab it with the tip of my finger. You have to be patient. See, like this one, it's not as easy to get it out of here. But just taking your time is what makes the difference. So now, I'm going to remove that top molding. The top molding, I use two different things. These little plastic and needle nose pliers. First, what I try to do, there's a little tape on the top. So pull it from the top towards the bottom, and then just kind of hook it in here. Now that I got something to grab from, needle nose pliers goes right in here. So now you can see where, because there's like a fine rubber on the very end of it, of the molding. Now I'm going to grab where there's actually like a little metal. Just trimmed it like that. So you can see now the metal right here, right? So it's as easy as getting a little tiny hook tool, going in the back. You see I separated it from the windshield, and now I'm pushing back. And as I'm pushing back, I'm pulling out. So now that it came loose from there, once again, use my needle nose pliers. Now that I have that little space to grab it from, see, this side it's really tight, so it ripped on me twice. So what I'm going to do, why not give it a shot on the other side? Sometimes one side's easier to remove than the other side. Okay. I'm going to use the same technique, just pulling it up. Okay, same thing, I want to separate it from the back. And everything I'm doing is so that I don't scratch the car with a blade. Will it be easier to just get a blade and cut it through? Yeah, it could be a lot easier, but that means now you're scratching the vehicle. See, I like this because that's showing how difficult it could be just to remove one molding. So I'm going to push this up just a little bit. You see how I pushed it up just a little bit? It's going to give me a little bit more space here in the back to grab a little bit of that molding. Okay, so it looks like it's coming out. And thanks God it came out. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to create no damage to the vehicle. So now I could easily just remove the molding. And don't forget that I pushed that molding back, so I have to put it back in place. So I will do that. You want to do something and you don't want to forget about it. You see the old line aligns right there. And it's good to test the rain sensor before you remove it. So we do that. We test the rain sensor before we remove it. So we actually do that on our pre-inspection. So now this is how I'm going to remove it. I usually go like this and just turn it, and that releases it without breaking this plastic cover that goes here. It's important. There's another clip here that it goes into the mirror, so it's very important to pull it out towards the right. So I'm gonna place this down here, and this rearview mirror, it just turns just like that. And now I'm gonna push here, here. Now you have a condensation sensor. On this one you have to be very patient. It has like a double-sided clear tape. I see it came out nice. Everything looks good. You see the bracket didn't get damaged. Just turning it properly. So now it's time for the removal. Now this is your choice of what you want to use with tools. I've been asked over and over, Alfredo, can you use a cold knife blade to remove the windshield, like a lot of people do still? They can't afford the high-end tools. Yes, I would still highly recommend you getting fiber line cutout system tool, and I'm gonna explain you why. I keep my blades very, very sharp, and the proper way to use this tool. See, when you're using this tool, you could potentially scratch. So now you have to cover, and even if you cover, sometimes you could still damage the vehicle. So, and a good way to prevent that, you could start just from the top, and see, you got to be very precise that you don't damage when you're inserting the tool. See, now you're pulling. Now you're using a lot of body strength. Your shoulders, your hand, your back. And it's not that easy. This one has never been replaced before, so that makes it a little bit easier to cut through. But even though it's still a little bit difficult to cut through, but this is the problem. If this thing snaps out of your hand, or I mean, it snaps the glass, guess what? Now you have a scratch. You could potentially have a scratch. And I'm not saying that happens every single time. Could it happen? Yes, it could happen. You're taking that chance. See, right now it's already loose. Same thing on this other side. Is it fast? Yeah, I think it's fast to do that too, to cut this way. I see a lot of scratches here, and this is probably the reason why. They're pulling so hard that it slips out of their hand, and guess what? There's a scratch. What I do here, I go side to side, and it's cutting. It's cutting. Yes, it is. So there's a pro tip. You don't have to pull. You just move the blade from side to side, and it starts cutting for you. This is, like a lot of people say, old school. This is the old school way to remove a windshield. See, now I'm going to pull from the bottom up. It is easier to pull than pull this down. See right here, it's about to snap. I could just feel it. Look how much pressure there is that I just left it there and it cracked it. Same thing on the other side. Let me see when I pull up. Remember, these vehicles use a high modulus non-conductive urethane, so the urethane is really pretty rock hard. Okay, so this side is out. So on this one, what I could do, I could switch the blade for a smaller one, or another technique, you pull out a little bit of the blade and cut sideways. And then you go back and you come back again. You see how it's getting messy? Okay, I really don't, that's one of the reasons why I don't recommend so much doing it this way. But I was asked if and yes, this is the way that we used to do it before. See, now I'm creating a lot more work to myself. And as you can see, the glass got slightly damaged there. I was able to cut it, but does my shoulder hurt? Yes, it does. Does my hands hurt, my wrist? Yes, they do. Can it be done? Yes, it could be done, but you see, that is not that easy to get it done that way. So right now, I don't want more particles of that glass coming off. So what I want to do, I want to tape the glass where it shattered a little bit. So now the glass is loose on the bottom. So they were asking me, Alfredo, do you use express tool? I do use express tool. The express tool, some people own a extractor. Yes, extractor too. Ambush, that's what I have, the ambush. Express tool, another one on our vans. So now I want to make sure this is in place. There's a little vent right there. Good thing that the dash cover was there, protecting from the little piece of glass to fall into there. So since their glass could potentially fall into there, that's why I put that tape, so there's no chance of the glass going on there. Now I'm going to use the ambush. And yes, the ambush does an amazing job on a lot of cars. I do use it. But at the same time, if you don't use it properly, you could damage the vehicle. And of course, you'd never want to damage the vehicle. And I know the customer will never see it. So a lot of people get away with it for that reason, that customer can't really know if you damage their vehicle or not. So I'm gonna use it the proper way. So here's my ambush. Here's my spatula blade. This is the way I'm going to be grabbing it to be very precise. You can see from the inside. You don't want to go from the inside of the car, you want to go from the outside of the car and go very smooth and slow. Now it's loose. But see, I went really slow, really smooth. I was using my fingers between the dash and the glass to prevent from going too deep. Because if you go too deep one time, just one time, that means you already scratched the car one time. See, I don't like it so much when I can't really see across the other side. So there it is. Windshield's already out. And you could just imagine if people don't have the patience to remove the bottom cowling, you think they're going to have patience with the tool and just go and hit the bottom of the Pinchweld, and you know that's going to cause a serious scratch. And if they don't remove the bottom cowling, they will never know that they scratched on the bottom, and that would turn into a rust problem, and rust problems are bad. I don't like to deal with them. When I have to deal with them, I just have to treat it. We're gonna get, see right now I have to use water as a lubricant for that tool. So now I have to dry that water out, because the water, after you remove the urethane and that water gets into the urethane, it'll go into the pores, and that's not going to have a good bond. So I'm going to have to vacuum. Vacuum this one. So after vacuuming, I still have to, what I do, because sometimes even though you vacuum, it's not strong enough to remove all of that water out of there. So this one is for the sponge. I'm just touching it with the regular paper towel, and it soaks the water out of the sponge right here. A lot of times that I get to the job, this sponge is gone, completely gone. Especially use the pipe knife, that sponge is in pieces. So mine's not in pieces, mine's still there complete. It's a pretty much like a sound barrier. It absorbs the air, so it makes the car more quiet. It's more quiet. So right now, I'm blowing all the loose particles, and I'm drying that water out. Since I'm close to the urethane, I'm using a lint-free paper towel. See, there's still water there. There was still water there. So you could be creative on how you use your paper towels. You don't want to use the same end every time. You could buy this from Equalizer. It's really hard to find lint-free paper towel somewhere else. You get the best deal at Equalizer. Okay, so now I'm done prepping before I cut the urethane out. Now to remove the urethane, I'm going to use a BTV tool. This whole process is going to take me about 6 minutes. So what I'll do for now, I'm going to final clean up the windshield. My son already discontaminated this glass. I'm going to do the discontamination one more time. I want you to have an idea of what discontamination means. So we use Dow Automotive Systems. I'm going to use Beta Braid. I'm going to shake it for 10 minutes. I'm sorry, for 10 seconds. And I'm going to be applying it to the glass. So now it's ready. You don't want to put too much. You just want to have a nice fine line. This is where the bonding area is. You want to scrub it in little circles. So I get a paper towel. Little circle. Make sure you're pushing into the glass, because this glass did have some marks, maybe from the molds through the manufacturer. When you're under the sun doing a mobile installation, my own recommendation, just because I experienced it myself, if you do the all the way around on the glass, it dries out on you. So, and that's like when it gets really hot. Over here in Corona, it gets pretty hot. So I would recommend you to do one side and clean it, discontaminate, and then do another side. Just don't forget to do all 4 sides. The reason why they recommend you going all the way around, because they don't want you to miss any sides. So be conscious that you are doing all sides. I would like to experience the cold. I would like to do a windshield in a really cold weather, because I've been told it's a different setup and a different situation. You don't want to let the windshield get under a low temperature, because then it creates condensation into the glass. So that is a totally different procedure than the one that I'm doing right now. So the reason why I remove this contamination like that, because then you don't want to bring it into the glass, because then you could it'll be a little bit more difficult to clean the glass. When you're spraying, you really don't want to spray over the your rain sensor, so be careful where you're spraying. See, now it's really nice, discontaminated. You see, son? Thanks for doing it too. Didn't mean to do it again, but I wanted to explain it and touch some points on it. So now I'm going to apply primer. Want to make sure that the moldings it's nicely in there, and I don't want to take too long, so I'm going to shake my primer for 30 seconds. 12:01. By the meantime, I'll start removing the urethane. I'm going to use a BTV scraper. I highly recommend it. This is, like I always say, this is one of the most, if not the most important part out of the whole installation, because this is the retention system. So now I'm going to start cutting the bottom. If you're still using a pipe knife, I highly advise you to invest $125, because that's how much this little kit costs. And you can see what a difference it could make on removing the urethane, on cutting out the urethane. And yeah, it might take you about a week to get used to using the tool, the way you push, the way you pull, the way you position your body, your hand. But at the same time, look, it's just so much nicer, clean cut out. See, same thing right here, you could slip, so you gotta be precise. You gotta move your body so that if it slips towards the inside, not somewhere where you could damage the paint. See right there, it could have slipped. So my primer's ready. See how long? More than 30 seconds. This is a really stiff urethane. There's some urethanes on some BMWs that are not that difficult to remove. So since I'm gonna be ready to apply the urethane into the vehicle, I'm going to apply the primer to the body first, and then when I'm applying the urethane into the when I'm applying the urethane to the glass, that'll give me my 2 minutes for the glass. So I'm only going to need primer here, and this is not a scratch, okay? This is just from the Bondo putty. And you could always get your little flashlight and inspect everything better in detail. Make sure that you're not missing any scratches. See, I don't know if that's a scratch or that's just residue from the water. It doesn't hurt at all to add a little fine coat of primer here. And it wasn't a scratch, it was water. But I always tell my installers, hey man, it's better to have a little bit extra primer outside of the urethane than not have enough or not have none at all. So now I'm going to use a big dauber. My son already knows for the glass. No double dipping. So since it kind of squeezes out a little bit when you first started applying it, I like to start on the bottom in case it runs somewhere. It doesn't run into the inside of the glass. You don't want to apply it a real thick coat. You want to keep it normal. On these bottom ones, I always like to go a little bit higher. And on top of the molding, because sometimes it catches some of the molding. And as a reference, you could always come and see the old windshield. So it's 2 minutes. So it's very important to keep track on the time. So it's 12:07, 30 seconds. So now that's ready. Now I'm going to start applying the urethane into the body of the vehicle. I time myself how long it takes me to apply the urethane, the primer into the glass. So that's why I do the body first, and by the time I'm ready, it'll be in perfect time. On this one, we're going to be using the last car that we did was another BMW, so we already have some left over, and it doesn't hurt, it doesn't compromise anything if you use the leftover from another sausage or from another cartridge. So once again, look at my time. There it is. I gave it an extra 40 something seconds on the primer that I applied to the body of the vehicle. Lower this a little bit, son, right there. And now I'm going to start applying the urethane. I usually end a little bit lower, but since I was about to be done with this urethane, I just finished it all. Thank you. So I know my urethane, you see I got a little bubble right there, which I don't mind. So I could just do that, get it over with. Now start applying my urethane. You always want to start on the passenger side where the airbag is. That's what I've been told from my trainer, and that's what I do. A lot of BMWs and Mercedes, it's a little bit more complicated to apply the urethane due to the fact that the hood is on the way. But I still prefer to apply the urethane to the body, because when you're applying the urethane on the glass, you literally have to do a perfect set. And I really don't know anybody that does a perfect set, even when they use the system. I mean, I tried it myself, and it's not that easy. So, is it doable? I guess so, yes. But I feel more confident when I'm applying the urethane to the body. If you use one bone to paddle, always use the same bone to keep it clean. Otherwise, you could contaminate with your own paddling. Okay, so that's it for my paddling. Now it's time to set the windshield in place. One big advantage here at the shop, and my son's on vacations, Thanksgiving vacation out of school, he's helping daddy today. And I'm able to he's able to help me set this windshield in place. When you grab the glass on the bottom, always open your hand. And setting the glass, when we set it together, we always focus on the top. You can see the molding kind of helps you align the glass. And finish the tape. Don't slap the glass. Don't do that. That could vibrate and cause an air leak. So don't smack the glass. Just use a one hand or two hands. Looks good. There's a little spot that needs a backfield on the back right here. Pass me a blade, son, please. Single edge blade. Thank you. That's it. nice and smooth. So if I ever do this glass again, yes, it's going to be a nice, easy replacement. Right now my customer dropped off the car, so I'm able to take my time, and that's the reason why I'm able to do a video here in my shop. Very blessed to do that. Our next door neighbor, they do some sort of kind of, I know she says it's not, but it is called what's it called, son? No, the type of workout they do. CrossFit. It's similar to CrossFit, but it's not CrossFit. Something better. And they usually have music, so it's hard to record with the music on, but they're on vacations. So I'm able to record here in my shop. Thanks God. So now I'm going to put the, my gloves are clean, so I'm going to start and putting the rain sensor in first, and the rear view mirror. You never want to force the little locking clips, because that could break the rain sensor. Then you're in big trouble. So I always remove the rear view mirror in a position that allows me to turn it easy. So now you see how easy that went. I always put the right side first, push it with my hand all the way through. Sometimes that cable gets on the way, and this could become a little bit complicated. But if you don't touch it too much when you're removing it, then it goes back in place really easy. So that's it for the rain sensor. I still have to test it. I will show you how to test the rain sensor, which is fairly easy. So now it's time to put all the parts back in place. This could be a little tricky, and this is probably one of the reasons why I wanted to do the video, because this molding and this bottom piece right here. So I usually put it from the top, and as you can see, this right here, this little hose, it goes behind there. So pretty much I align the whole thing, and there's a rubber underneath there that this bottom cowling is going to fit into, and it kind of curves in the different spots. So you want to make sure that on those curves the cowling hits right where it's supposed to be. See, same thing here. Make sure you push it in. So look how much easier it's going to be now to put this piece back in place. Like I said, it could be some trouble putting this in. So just push like that. Now it's in place. Excuse me, son. Same thing with this side. You want to keep pushing down. Make sure that you're pushing it right where you want it to go. See, it's nice in place, just how it was from the factory. Now, this little hose has this kind of like electrical tape on there, holding it in place. The one that I had was pretty dry. So kind of put it right where it's going to go, like right there, and so go ahead and little hose, put the clip in place. Now the farther one out goes with the long one, and then the shorter one goes with the shorter one. Now it's important to be able to put this back in place, and what I usually do, I go here through the bottom and I start pushing in. You see how easy that was? Just little tricks here and there make a whole lot of difference. Same thing here. I make sure that is right where it's supposed to be, and just keep pushing it from over there this way. This little end goes under the glass, and now everything's back in place. Right now it's a little bit easier to put left goes on the driver's side. Right now it's easier to put the windshield wipers without putting that in there just yet. So there's little guides. Make sure it's locked in place. Same thing here. Little guide. So it's nice in there. Oh, like I was saying, it's easier to put the windshield wipers left, driver, right, passenger. You just have a little bit more space to work with. So I'm gonna put them on now. Remember, this one was right along the black line of the glass. Most of the times the windows have a little marking telling you where the windshield wiper goes. It's hard to see on the video, but most of the windows have it. Not all of them though, but most of them do. So that's it. Make sure it's nice in there. Now put this back in place. See, everything fits nice and smooth, and it's not rushing it is not the best thing to do. And you don't want to tie it too much, because remember, this is plastic you're screwing it into. So if you tie it too much, you'll break the plastic. You don't want to break anything. So right now the hood's still up. I put this when the hood's still up. Fit this in here. And the way I do it, I look at the mark of the clip. You see right there's the mark, and that's kind of my guide to know where it has to go. When you push a clip, you want to push, if the clip's right in the middle, you want to push on the side. That way it locks evenly. See, it's nice and flush, nice, aerodynamic. This hood has 3 places where it locks in from, so you have to be like very synchronized when you're closing it. and of course not leave anything behind. Okay, so there it is. The hood, it's shut. The moldings are flush. The top molding, I'm going to be removing that tape, but I want to test the rain sensor. You never want to put the key when that rain sensor is off. You never want to put the key in. If you need to move the car, you're going to have to tell the customer they have to wait or do something about it, because you'll be in trouble. So I start the car one time, and the rain sensor is here. There's a button right here. It says A for auto right there. You push this, it does that for a little bit, for when you push it, and then you grab your water. See, it hasn't turned on at all, right? As soon as you put the water, those windshield wipers should go off, and they do. It's working just fine. And the more rain you put, you see they keep going. If you stop, they stop. So that's testing the rain sensor, and it's working properly. And I didn't remove the cable out of the rain sensor, out of the rear view mirror this time, and you can see everything's working. And we just have to wait for the safe drive away time. Customer's not picking the car up until later today, so about an hour from now, about 50 minutes from now, the car will be safe to drive. Thank you for taking the time and watching my videos. Please subscribe. God bless, and have a good day. Thank you.